Hey guys, so this video is all about my first time dyeing a human hair wig. I was really excited to do this, so I'd asked my patrons how I should dye it. We held a vote and Hidden Rainbow won. So thank you to my patron Kite for suggesting this. Without you, this video wouldn't be possible. It also wouldn't be possible without VP Fashion, who is sponsoring this video, so thank you to them for giving me the chance to test my hair dyeing skills on one of their wigs. Attempting to do a hidden rainbow for my first time dyeing a wig was a fun but challenging task. So if you'd like to see everything that it took to get this final look, then just keep watching. So this is how the wig came in the box, and of course the wig came in the protective plastic with the netting wrapped around it. What was also in the box is the order information sheet, which tells me that this wig is in the style W613A. It's in the color all white blonde, the texture is silky straight, and the length is 12 inches. Then last but not least, the box also included 2 wig caps. So this is what the wig looked like to start. Like I said, it's a human hair wig, and it is also a lace front wig. So as you can see, there is lace in the front and wefts in the back, along with the traditional 3 combs to help keep it secure, and some elastic in the back as well. The lace color is a transparent color, the hair density is 130%, and the hair type is 100% Indian Virgin Remy hair, according to the VP Fashion website. But enough about this wig, let's get into the process of turning it into a hidden rainbow. So, as you guys can probably gather by what you see in the shot, the first step is to wash the wig. And I've heard some people don't like to wash their wigs before they dye them, and I've heard some people say that it is a mandatory step, and so I decided to try to play it safe and just go ahead and wash it. I decided to use my generic version of shimmer lights that I got at Sally's a while back, not because I think that the wig needs to be toned at all, but just because I thought that the conditioning aspect of it and the fact that it is designed for blonde hair would be a safe bet, if that makes sense. So I mixed the shampoo up in the water just to get everything nice and even, and then I also will be using Ion's Moisture Shampoo to apply directly to the wig later, as you will see. But first I just dipped the wig into the water as smoothly as I could and tried to, as gently as I could, wash it and get it all lathered up. I really wanted to avoid getting things tangled, and so I tried to be gentle. I sped this up really fast, so I'm working a lot slower than it might look. And then, like I said, I will be taking the other shampoo and then applying it gently to the wig itself. This might have been unnecessary, but I just really wanted to make sure that if I was putting in the work to wash it, that I was getting it as clean as possible. But like I said, just trying to keep everything smooth, going in the right direction, not tangled, not getting caught on the combs on the inside, and it was a bit tricky, but I wanted to take care of this just because, it is an expensive wig and I wanted to treat it right. And so then what I did is I left it to sit in the shampoo mixture for about 5 to 7 minutes. Then of course, next up is to rinse the wig, and so I just, again, being as gentle as possible, tried to squeeze all of the water out and then dip it into the next bucket, swirl it around, and try to rinse out the shampoo. I repeated the process one more time in another bucket of clean water, just to be as thorough as possible, and especially because I wasn't working with running water, as you can see. The next step is to condition, so I went with this Deep Treatment Miracle Moisture Conditioner from Aussie, and I applied it starting at the ends and working my way up to the top. I tried to apply it as evenly as possible to all the hair on the wig without getting it too much into the lace or the wig cap itself. Then I let it sit for another 5 to 7 minutes, and then it's time for the 2-step rinsing process that we did for shampooing. So just repeating rinsing in one bucket and then moving it to the next one to rinse again one last time. The final step that I did is to add in this Pro Vitamin Leave-In Conditioner from Apogee. Some of you might remember this from the care package that they sent me last year to help me with my damaged hair, and so I figured it would be perfect to use on this wig, which is also very bleached hair. I put the wig on my tripod to air dry, but I did end up having to use a hairdryer on it just a little bit the next morning. So this is the wig, all fresh and clean and prepped for dyeing. I didn't do any styling to it, and like I said, I had used the hairdryer, so it is a bit fluffy, but that's to be expected. So this is our before shot of the wig, which means that the next step is the fun step, which is dyeing the wig. Let's do it. So I decided to roll another first into this video by finally trying Arctic Fox hair color. I bought all of these off of Attitude Holland, and I was really excited to try them, so let's get started. So first I sectioned off where I would place each color and what I would do black. Then I added a small amount of Vaseline to the lace to keep it from being dyed, which I'm not sure if I do again, which I will touch on later. Next, I pinned the wig to my makeshift wig stand that I crafted out of a tripod, a towel, and a plastic bag, which actually worked out pretty well. I've seen Linzor do something similar on her channel when she dyes her wigs, so shout out to her for helping me get through this whole process and having so many wig dyeing videos on her channel. So as we get into the dyeing, I don't have too much to say about this part of the process, except that I was more careful and more thorough with the dyeing than I have ever been in my life. Because of this, each color took me about 20 to 25 minutes to do. I wanted them to be as bright and even as possible, so that the rainbow could look as neat as I could make it. So, like I said, I don't have too much to say about the process itself, so let's cue the music and get to dyeing. Alright, so the dyeing is done. Finally! I wrapped everything up in a plastic bag and let it process overnight. Then the next day I rinsed it out, and this part was a very long and stressful process. I only filmed the first bit, but I'll tell you that this is where mistakes were made. One of the colors bled and the black did transfer to some parts of the rainbow, as you'll see later. I'm not sure if dyeing the black either before or after the rainbow would have helped, but I just didn't have time to do it separately. If I ever do something like this again though, maybe I'll try it that way. But while rinsing, I did shampoo a bit, with most of my focus on the roots and the wig cap. Then I threw on some of this onto the wig and let it hang out for a few minutes before doing a final rinse. Then I sprayed it down with this, let it air dry, and here we are. So here it is after drying and before styling, and at this point I was really happy with it because I was really afraid of how it turned out. Except for the lace did get stained a little bit blue and the roots were a tad greasy because of the Vaseline. Then as you can see here, the black section is not as long as the rainbow section, which means that this isn't really a hidden rainbow. This was my mistake when I was planning out everything, and I didn't notice the layering on the wig, and it is something that I could fix just by cutting it short, but for right now I decided to just leave it, just roll with it, and maybe deal with that in another video. So here I'm spraying the wig with this Beyond the Zone heat protected spray that I had put into a smaller bottle for traveling, and then after combing it all through, I'll be straightening the wig. So the wig is straightened, I put it on, I clipped it up in the back, and for some reason started getting a little bit sassy. But now it's time for the next step, which is to deal with the part. As we saw earlier, it is tinted blue, so I decided to try using eyeshadow to correct it. So I went in with this tan shade as my scalp color, and it's not perfect, but I was pretty surprised at the difference that it did make. But honestly, having a slightly stained scalp like the day after you just dyed your hair is pretty realistic, so it didn't bother me too much. Then I went in with this black shadow because part of the blue tint was actually coming from the fact that the actual hairs were blue at the bottom. So Transylvania by Arctic Fox is a blue tinted black, and so some of the Vaseline had gotten on the hairs themselves and had prevented the dye from really sticking to the very, very, very roots of them. And so I decided to throw black on top of it to try to cover that up. So this wasn't a perfect fix, and there are definitely other things that I could try and do to make this look a little bit more realistic. So comment down below if you'd like to see me revamp this wig in a future video, especially with cutting the hair short like I had mentioned earlier to make this a fully hidden rainbow. So that's it! That was the final step in creating this look. And honestly, for this being the first wig that I've ever dyed, I'm pretty proud of it. But let's cue the music because it's time for a montage. final thank you goes to VP Fashion for sponsoring this video, especially because it really helped to offset the cost of the hair dye. And of course, I have something to help you guys offset cost, which is a discount code for VP Fashion, Caro, for $10 off, unless it is before August 31st, and you can get $18 off during their back to school sale. You can find all the info in the description, along with the link to this specific wig as well. Don't forget that you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'll have links in the description, along with my Facebook, Tumblr, YouNow, and Patreon. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this wig transformation video. Feel free to subscribe if you're not already, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!